Hey, you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Allison. And if you do know who I am, you haven't seen me in a while. And so I wanted to make a video today to update everybody about what's going on with the channel. I'm going to be doing some book reviews and just kind of let you guys know what's going on with me, and we'll see what else I feel like talking about today. But as you can see, if you've been a fan of my show, you can tell that I look a little bit different. That's because I have a brand new computer. I was going to wait to buy it until I had enough donations to afford it, but I didn't do that because that would have taken too long. So I went ahead and purchased it and got some new lighting. And so if you would love to support me, I would love to receive from you. I have a donation tab or link in the description. So I would be so grateful. I just was so sick of the old camera, the bad quality. So, now that I have almost 2,000 subscribers, I figured that it was time to upgrade. And so here I am in HD. You guys have been seeing me in SD since I started, and I'm on my 37th episode on Saturday. I'll be recording that. So I just figured it was time to upgrade. So that's some big news. So the other news is that I have my third panel discussion coming up. Hopefully we're recording it on Tuesday. It's going to be awesome. And this topic is super interesting and important for me, especially because I run into so many misconceptions online about Orthodoxy. The Western Christian ideas about even just the icons, mysticism, all of the sacraments, all these things that Western Christians think are unchristian. No, they're extremely Christian, and so we're going to be going over these misconceptions and more. And the way I want to go about it is really in a positive way, not dissing or bashing Western Christians, because it does come off that way. I'm sure maybe even what I just said seems like I'm bashing Western Christians. I am not. The reason there are so many misconceptions is there's just so much misinformation and little information about church history, the sacraments, all the things. And so what happens is there's this real intellectual, all these ideologies about Christianity that have come forth since the schism, really, and then the reactions to the schism. So we have 1,000 years of misconceptions, and that's why I started this channel. Really, one of the main reasons I started this channel is to give people resources and get and learn about what Orthodoxy is and why, in my opinion, it's what everybody's been looking for. So, in other words, my point of my panel discussion is really going to be about how once Western Christians start questioning some of the things like Bible alone, what does the Bible mean to me? Things like that. Once saved, always saved. Those are the obvious ones, but there's so many more. These things that are heretical actually lead people to Orthodoxy, because they start questioning and then doing research and finding out that there's a 2,000-year-old tradition that started with the apostles and Jesus Christ, and that we have access to this now and always. It's been here for us unchanged no innovations needed. We have the early church and the way to worship our Lord, and it's already been created and it's there for us. So, I love the stories of people who had an Orthodox church 2 blocks from them or 2 miles away and never even thought to go and check out divine liturgy. And then they hear something online, or a friend mentions something, or they see a book by one of the fathers, which I'm going to be doing some book reviews. So stay tuned to the end of the video for that. I'm not going to be rambling for too much longer. I just love these stories, these conversion stories of people who were looking for the ancient faith. They didn't know it. And then they realized, oh my gosh, there's an Eastern Orthodox Church. I'm going to go check it out. And it's everything they were looking for. So if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen the reel I created from about 70 responses to my question that I gave to my followers. I don't like calling them that, but I guess friends. They're not really friends either. So my Instagram followers, I asked, if you're a convert, what was it that drew you to Orthodoxy? And the answers were so beautiful, so interesting, so deep. So I made a reel thanks to my bestie, Mia. Thank you for the idea. I kind of had an idea, like I wanted to do something with the answers, but she said, why don't you make a reel? And I'm not used to making reels. She's really good at them, but I made one, and 100 people shared it for me. If you guys want to check it out, just go to my Instagram, A Devotional Heart, and please share it. And it's beautiful, and I put a beautiful song to it. And if you want to read, because it goes so fast, it's like 1 second per slide, but if you want to read the answers that people gave me, just go to my stories highlights, and it's the album that's called Why Orthodoxy, and check that out. So anybody new to my channel or to me, I'm A Devotional Heart, and I have a podcast now. I finally started putting up all the episodes onto Spotify and iTunes, so you can find me there. Please share that as well. And let's see. Okay, so why have I been gone for 3 weeks? If you ever have a thought in your head that my enthusiasm for this channel is waning or something like that, if I haven't posted anything for a while, please do not think that, because it's actually the opposite. I get more and more excited about my interviews, my guests, everything that's happening. It's just that sometimes it takes a while, or people cancel for health reasons, or for other whatever the reasons are. It seemed like there were a lot of those reasons over the last 3 weeks. So it's been a good chunk of time for me, though, to read, and just I go for a walk every day. I try to read the Bible as much as I can, and I also try to watch as many patristic teachings on YouTube as possible. I'm a Etsy shop owner, so I've been working on my Etsy shop. I'll put the link to that in the description if you want to check it out. And it's another way you can support my channel, is to tell your friends about my Etsy shop, especially people with children, because I make decorations for events and weddings, events including weddings and birthday parties and things like that. And I can make customized orders. And so anyway, the link will be in the description. But so I've been working on that. I've been spending a lot of time with my husband and my cat, and just we're going to be doing some upgrades around the house this spring, so getting ready for that. So I've just been busy, but not extremely. It's just that, like I said, the people that I had scheduled had to reschedule, and I'm still going through this long list of potential guests that was generously emailed to me by a deacon in Massachusetts, I believe. He was so kind. He created this long email of fathers and authors to check out and see if any of them would want to become guests. So I've barely even scratched the surface on this list of guests. So that's actually been one of my big priorities that I've been wanting to take care of, but I just haven't gotten there yet. It just seems like the weeks just fly by. I know everybody says that, but I really do feel like, if you don't prioritize things, you don't make a schedule and stick to that schedule, sometimes things don't happen. So anyway, enough about that. I want to give a shout out to Father Turbo Qualls, who was my guest a few weeks ago, and that interview was probably my favorite. I don't want to have favorites really, but if I were to recommend just one of my episodes to somebody new to my channel, it would definitely be my interview with Father Turbo. And he's just such a warm, wonderful person. He was just on Church of the Eternal Logos a couple days ago, so you can check out his interview over there with Patrick. And let's see, what else did I want to talk about? I should like write things down so I don't forget anything, because I am always thinking about you guys. I'm always thinking about what you might want to see or hear from me. If you guys have recommendations of guests or topics, anything, questions for me, please leave them in the comments below the video. And again, I love the comments I receive from you. Please keep them coming. They're so much fun. And I'm sorry I don't reply to each one of them. I'm really, really not good at that. And I want to improve in that area. I know Patrick always replies to the comments, and it's a good habit to get into. And I apologize for not being on my computer enough, really, because I'm on my phone a lot, but I'm not on the computer very much. And I think it's just easier to do from the computer. But last shout out is to my moderators. You guys are the best. We have so much fun in the chat. You guys who haven't been able to make it to a premiere yet, please try to get there because we have so much fun. And I just love you guys. I love this community. I have never had such a community in my whole life like this. You guys are so supportive. You are very patient with me, and you understand that I am only a catechumen. I'm not, I don't even consider myself truly Orthodox yet because I'm not baptized, and nobody's complaining. I think you all understand that I'm just learning about everything that I even have on, every topic that I bring up with my guests. I am far from being an expert. And I think it's pretty clear, but thank you guys for being so patient with me and just understanding that I know nothing. And I'm not just saying that to be humble. I really mean it. Every day I learn something new, and I really appreciate all of you guys, and all the recommendations for podcasts that you've given me, books and things like that. I love that. And if you are new to Orthodoxy and you don't know where to start, just follow me on Instagram, because I'm always recommending blogs, podcasts, videos, things like that. And you can also message me if there's something in particular. I don't answer theological questions. I don't answer any like spiritual questions related to Orthodoxy, but I can find a resource for you, and or find someone who can find a resource for you. And with that, I want to bring your attention to the first book in my stack of recommendations. And right now I'm reading about 6 books. I don't like to do any kind of reviews or recommendations about anything that I haven't finished reading yet. So this stack of books are books that I have read that I can recommend to you. So this one is The Catechism of the Orthodox Church by Saint Philaret of Moscow. And it's online. You don't have to buy it. But if you do want to buy it, please support a local parish bookstore. Or my friend Kevin has his, I'll put his link. Well, his link is in almost every one of my videos. It's okay. So it's a Catholic book. It's called Catholic Bookstore. He is Orthodox and he bought the bookstore. It was a Christian bookstore, but for some reason it says Catholic in the link. So please don't be confused or dismayed by that. He's Orthodox and he's trying to fill the store with more Orthodox books. So the more you support him, the more he can do that. But I bought this at my parish bookstore and it's like quick, very quick read, but it is critical, if you want to understand why we believe what we believe, why we do what we do in the liturgy. It's questions and answers, so common questions. And it goes through everything from, the creed and each part of the creed. It talks about liturgy, Holy Communion, baptism, the Holy Tradition. So if you come from Protestantism, you don't know anything about Holy Tradition, this is a really, really good book to start with. What is faith? Biblical, gives a lot of references to Scripture. And it's just a really good gift to give to somebody who's new to the faith or even just inquiring. I cannot recommend it enough. So, Catechism of the Orthodox Church. And it's from St. John of Kronstadt Press. And they're in Tennessee. Okay, this is also a really good gift for someone who is new to Orthodoxy. And it's God's revelation to the human heart. And for those of you who know me, obviously the name of my channel and my Instagram, the Devotional Heart, this is why I am so excited to become an Orthodox Christian, because this ancient faith of ours is all about the heart, and that God reveals himself to us through the nous, which is what we call it. And when we're praying, when we're in our day-to-day life, when we're communicating with other people, when we're just out there living our lives, we strive to be more Christ-like. And to do that, we do not spend a lot of time intellectually living our lives. What we try to do, especially in prayer, is to bring our mind and our thoughts down into our hearts, because that's where God meets us. And that's how we transform our lives and how we devote ourselves to God and make more space in our mind, heart, and lives for Christ to be present with us. And so this is a lecture that Blessed Father Seraphim Rose gave in Santa Cruz in the 80s, I believe. And and it's quick, it's easy. There's some beautiful photos of him. And this is what he looked like at his repose. So peaceful. His life is incredible. I'm just kind of starting to learn about him. But there's some questions and answers. And I have this book that he wrote as well. I'm always recommending this book. You've probably seen me recommend this a million times, Orthodoxy and the Religion of the Future. So a lot of you guys come from occult backgrounds, and most of you who have been Orthodox for a while and come from that background have probably already read this, but it's a great book to give to somebody who's in the New Age and starting to maybe question the New Age and Eastern mysticism, like Far East, like Hinduism, Buddhism, because Father Seraphim Rose was into those things before he became Orthodox. He was really on that same path that a lot of us are on, of just wanting the truth at all costs. And so, like most of us, that striving for truth, that desire to know what is real and what is true, it brought him to orthodoxy. So I'll read you some things from the contents page. So, the power of the pagan gods, the attraction of Hinduism, Hindu places and practices, yoga, Zen. He talks about UFOs, the charismatic revival, and the end times a little bit. It's not really like an end times prophecy book, but he does talk about that a little bit. And just New Age in general, why Orthodoxy is actually the answer to what you've been looking for if you are in the New Age. And hopefully it won't take you 30 years like it took me. I pray it doesn't take you that long. And that's also why I started this channel, to hopefully, I say this all the time, I'm not here to convert anybody. If anybody already has that longing for truth, they're going to be led to orthodoxy. And I just want to be a resource. I really hope that you all watch my interviews with my guests and follow my guests who have Instagram pages and YouTube channels. And I hope that it just inspires you to keep learning about the faith. But that's going to be between you and God. And like I said, I just want to be a vehicle for that, for somebody, even if it's like 2 people during my entire lifetime of having this channel. I'll be so happy. So anyway, the next book I want to talk about is Orthodoxy and the Kingdom of Satan by Father Spyridon Bailey. If you do not watch him on his channel, please do. He is one of the fathers that I am praying one day to interview. It would be such a dream come true. He's an incredible man, and this is a really incredible book, and I'm not going to go too much into it. We talked about this book on my panel discussion in December, my first panel discussion. So you can find that episode in my list of episodes, and I definitely recommend that one. My guests were all good friends of mine. In fact, I have a returning guest, Vartan, coming on Saturday. We're going to record the interview. It's not an interview, it's a presentation on the Holy Trinity. And he created a PowerPoint presentation. He's going to be telling us all about the Trinity. And he was one of my guests on that panel. And he's also been interviewed by me in November. I'm pretty sure we did that interview. So he has a channel called Full Armor Apologetics. Definitely check it out. He's also interviewed Jay Dyer and Sam Shamoon. I don't know. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But anyway, Vartan is great. And so Orthodoxy and the Kingdom of Satan, it's really about how to perceive the globalist agenda, how to be discerning. It just gives you a background into transhumanism, the globalist agenda, and how to understand how those things came about, what their agenda is, and how to protect yourself from deception. I guess that's a pretty good synopsis. Okay, this next one I've talked about before, the gurus, the young man, and the elder Paisios. Again, if you have been into yoga, Eastern mysticism, Hinduism, Vedic, stuff like that, I really recommend this book because the author talks about how he was he was a Greek Orthodox young man, but he wanted to know, is there truth in these other traditions? And so he sets out on the quest to find out. And he is so blessed to have known Elder Paisios and spend time with him. And so a lot of this book is about the interactions that they had. And it's just beautiful. If you are the kind of person who loves a good story, memoirs and things like that, autobiographical types of books, and you come from a New Age background, this is really for you, because there aren't too many books like that. Most of the Orthodox books are patristic teachings, and there are a lot of biographies of the fathers, but not too many conversion stories or personal stories with orthodoxy. And the next two books are that way, but I really haven't found too many personal accounts of conversion stories. So if you guys know of any, please leave your ideas for me in the comments. Okay, so Veronica Hughes is the author of the next two books I'm going to tell you about. Actually, this one came first. It's called The Pearl of Great Price, and she is an upcoming guest. She's one of the guests that I had on the schedule, but she had some dental surgery that she needed to have, and I think she said she'll be ready to be on the show in a week or so. So stay tuned for that. But so she has gone through a lot, and she was a New Age teacher in the 80s. She was teaching healing, like energetic healing, aura stuff, and chakras, chakra balancing, and all of that stuff. So the first book is about how she was very deep into that and other things, and how her husband actually introduced her to Orthodoxy, but it took her a while to convert. And so it's a very, very fascinating book. She and I have so much in common. She's older than I am, but our life history it's almost uncanny. I read this book in 24 hours. Like, I could not put it down. I slept, of course, and ate and all that too, but I just literally could not put it down because there was so much in here that I could relate to. And thank you to my viewer who even told me about her. He met her at church, and he was visiting the church that she goes to, I believe. And they met, and he had already been a subscriber of my channel and knew my story, and told her about me. And because they were chatting, and I guess he was like, "Oh, there's someone on YouTube with like similar background as you," and she said, "Oh, send her my the interview I did." And that was she did that interview about 12 years ago on a podcast. So he emailed me and gave me that link, and I listened to it, and then I bought her book, and we've been in touch. We've been talking on the phone, and she's just wonderful. So this is the sequel. It's called In Christ, I Am a New Creation. And so this starts right after her baptism, and it's all about all the demonic interference she experienced, and a lot of that health crisis that she went through brought her closer to Christ, and helped her understand his role in our lives, and why we struggle. And that struggle, if you're Orthodox Christian, you understand that struggle is part of our life and part of our path, and it brings us closer to God, and we lean on him and not on ourselves. And So this is a lot about that, and it's just beautifully written. It's easy to read. It's relatable, and I've highlighted so many passages, and it'd be fun to. It would be really fun, actually, at some point, if you guys would be interested in doing some readings from these books, because sometimes you don't, maybe you don't know if you really want to invest in the time and money and energy and everything of reading an entire book that I recommend. And maybe I could read from some of these. So if there's one of the books that I've mentioned in particular that you are interested in and you just aren't ready to purchase it and you would like me to do a reading from it, please leave the idea in the comments below. And that was my stack of recommended books. I'll do another one of these updates in about, I don't know, I can't say, maybe 2 weeks. And hopefully I'll have some more books read by then that I can tell you about. Let's see. I think, I want to tell you guys about a podcast that I found. So he's not a patristic teacher. He's not teaching theology. He's a very interesting guy. His name is Cody something. Sorry, I'll put it in the box below. But he is a Orthodox Christian who has studied a lot of things. He studied psychology, like Freudian psychology, it's called like analysis, something. It's different than typical therapy. So he talks about Freud, who I'm really not interested in, but the way he ties it in with orthodoxy is super interesting. It's called the 50-minute hour. And he sounds like he's in his 20s, but he's super brilliant. I want to have him on the show. He has a deep, deep understanding of world history, world religions, modern society, and things like media, hypnosis, and demonology, exorcisms. He's got a couple episodes about demonic interference and things like that, not to create any kind of fascination with it, but to explain that it is real. And I do have an interest in these kinds of things, but only from the standpoint of being more versed in it so that I can help people perceive it, perceive when they're being deceived, or perceive when they're being demonically interfered with. That's why I'm interested in it. Whereas in my youth, I started out playing with Ouija boards and reading everything I could about paranormal activity and stuff like that. That was not from a healthy interest. Those books I read, and the early Wicca books like Starhawk, Spiral Dance, I was reading stuff like that when I was 11 or 12. That was not healthy. It was not from the perspective of like how to discern and how to avoid those things. It was like, I don't know how I got so interested in those things, but sometimes I think part of it was because I wanted some kind of control over my life, and I felt like these types of paths could help me achieve that. So as I've talked about with Mia in my many episodes of my channel with her, it's a false, it's very alluring, it's very sexy. It's this false sense of power and understanding of like how things work. And again, everything I was ever looking for is in Eastern Orthodoxy. I want to scream that from the rooftops. And again, why I started this channel is to give people who were like me, very lost, an opportunity to discover something that is so rich and so beautiful and is the tradition that all other paths are trying to be. I mean, it sounds so like elitist or something, but it's really not. If you don't believe me, just keep learning, keep exploring, talk to a priest, go watch Church of the Eternal Logos, go watch Jay Dyer, watch Jay Dyer in his debates, read as much from the church fathers as you can, and have conversations, be open. One of the problems with my life as a liberal New Ager was that I thought I knew everything and I was not open. And a lot of times New Age people think they're the most open and the most receptive, and they're actually the least the least receptive, because they think they already know everything, especially if they've experienced mind altering experiences with, like shamanic kind of experiences. You think that you've been given access to all the secrets of the universe and that you know more than other people. And it's I've talked about this so many times, but once again, it's very prideful, and it keeps you from the truth, which is our Lord Jesus Christ. And so anyway, I feel like I'm babbling now, and just super excited to be making videos again. This was a little bit longer than I'd planned, but if you want to subscribe to my channel, I would be so happy. If you want to like this video, share it with somebody, leave a comment, and stay tuned for more great videos. And again, if there's any part of you that wants to help support this project, and my podcast is not free, I have to pay for that. So if you want to support me with that, I would appreciate it so much. I'm not receiving any ad money from YouTube. I'm actually thinking about trying to figure out how to do that. But at this time, today is February 17th, 2022, I do not receive any payment from YouTube. So it's all member support or subscriber supported. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.